Understand. This is a church that Pravin grew up. Everywhere I look, I see him. It's just so hard. I see him in the choir. The kids were singing. I keep picturing him there, and even though I talk, I cannot imagine this is happening, but here we are. If I'm standing here today, it's only by the grace of God and the prayers of thousands of people all around the world. For the past 1 year, we are living the nightmare of losing our Pravin and trying to understand God's plan through all this. I can tell you one thing, God is good. There are times we think we cannot take it anymore and want to give up our fight, but then God opens up another way for us, and He has been leading us. In the beginning, when the rumors started in Carbondale about Pravin, which spread faster than wind all over the world and pictured him as a monster, we were questioning ourselves whether this was the same Pravin that we knew. But we thank God that He revealed the truth to us, and we are at peace. Pravin always made us proud, and even in his death, he did that. We have no regrets of not doing our job as parents. We did our best with the gift God gave us for 19 years, and now we know Pravin is with his eternal Father, and we are hoping for a day to see him again. I cannot begin to tell you the grace of God we have been receiving for the past year. We are trying to understand the mission God has planned for us. We are in a fight between good and evil. We believe at the end, when this fight is all over with, our family will be the biggest witness of God's love towards humankind. This was a shock to many. Since this incident, Pravin became a son, grandson, brother, and friend to so many people all over the world. Something about him attracted people to him, and the countless messages we get even now is proof of that love. We feel so blessed as parents that God gave us a son who is adored by many. We experienced the best and worst of humankind through this. We met so many wonderful and compassionate people at the same time. We experienced some that have no problem making up stories about Pravin. It hurts bad, especially when it comes from officials that are supposed to do their job fairly. We lost our Pravin last February, and we believe it's on the 13th, since the doctor who did the first autopsy would not even give us a date or time. I'm not going to the details of the case, as most of you are very aware of it already. I can tell you one thing, a year later, we are faced with more questions than answers. Our hope is that this incident will open the eyes of many and make people aware of the corruption in the legal system. Hope this will inspire people to come forward in questionable incidents and demand answers and justice. Hope this will make our young ones realize how short and fragile life is. Hope Pravin's life teaches others to live life to the fullest, just like he did, and realize it does not matter how long you live, rather how well you live. Hope it inspires parents to love their children unconditionally and trust the parental instinct. We hope Gage Bethune would realize what he did to Pravin, who was a total stranger to him, and the pain he caused us, and will tell us what really happened that night. We hope the state trooper who was involved would realize the lack of his professional action left a family broken forever, and will take his job seriously in the future. We hope the pathologist and the coroner would remember the oath they took before they touch another body. We hope every single police officer would do their job seriously as to serve and protect the public, and will investigate properly. I hope the state attorney who is handling the case would feel the compassion for other families and do his job fairly to give closure to a family who lost their loved one, and stop the common practice of making the victim a suspect. Hoping to see some changes in the protocols with handling communication between legal enforcement officers and in the procedures of accessing and releasing reports to families. Hoping to have some bills passed to hold the public officials accountable for their inactions. Hoping to prevent our tragedy from happening to another family. Hoping to be the voice for the ones who lost their voice, and to fight for justice. There are many things that happened following Pravin's passing. The community got together and formed Pravin Action Council. Under the leadership of Mrs. Mariamma Pillai and Mr. Gladson Varughese, a committee is working tirelessly to help us. I cannot mention all the names since there are so many, but please know that our family will forever be grateful to each one of you. I have to mention few names. Mrs. Mariamma Pillai, who is not here today. She's more like our mother and is so concerned and has been the greatest supporter. Mr. Gladson Varughese, who has taken us to meet many officials like Mrs. Shakoski, Mr. Danny Davis, Mr. Dick Durbin, Mrs. Sheila Simon, Attorney General Lisa Madigan, former Governor Pat Quinn, and many others. Even with this busy schedule, he makes himself available to help us and has been so supportive and keeps the committee active. I have to mention Jimmy Vachachara and Tom Abraham, two young attorneys from our community. They came to the first meeting and never left us. Since our lawyer, Mr. Stegmeyer, is in Carbondale, these two volunteered their time for legal things in Chicago. Jimmy comes with us for all the meetings that we need legal consult and is so concerned about us. Now you know, every boy that they look like Pravin. And I always tell Jimmy, you look like Pravin and acts like Pravin. These two grew up in the community and is giving back to the community and should be role models for the younger generation. We have an angel that is God sent. He's sitting here today, Mark from Colonial Funeral Home. He's the director. Thank you. Thank you. If he didn't have the mind to tell us to go see Pravin, we wouldn't be standing here today. And I told him that. We went there to thank him. I said, Mark, thank you so much. And he said, when I saw Pravin on the table, I thought of my girls. That's why we are here today. So he is our first angel. We have another blessing in our lives, and that is radio host Monica Zukas from Southern Illinois. If it wasn't for her persistence in pushing this case, we wouldn't be talking today. It's her voice and the autopsy by Dr. Ben Margolis are the reasons why we are able to pursue Pravin's case. We remember with gratitude Penny from Texas, who was a total stranger at the time, that helped us with fundraising and has been a constant supporter. Let me come to the responsibility of word of thanks. Since we don't have much time, the slideshow is going to be on now, and we tried to incorporate everything that happened after we lost Pravin. It's already on. Let me start with thanking Reverend Daniel Thomas, our vicar, who has been with us from the beginning. He's so concerned, visits us frequently, calls for updates, and is constantly keeping us in prayers. Thank you, Achanan Kochama. Assistant Vicar Reverend Sonu Varughese was with us in Carbondale a couple days ago, but unfortunately his father-in-law passed and he left to India, and our prayers are with him and we thank him for. We would like to thank the ecumenical community and all the clergy who is here today, and some have called and assured their prayers since they couldn't be here today. Thank you all. Our sincere thanks to Congresswoman Mrs. Jan Shakoski. She called me while I was standing here. She was on her way here. She got into a car accident. She hit somebody, so she couldn't make it here. So, I wish she was here. I would love to see her. Her office was the first official office that called us after seeing this news in Chicago Tribune back in May. Since then, her office has done multiple follow-ups with Carbondale Police Department. She attended the Morton Grove Village press conference and called for a federal investigation and wrote to FBI. We met her again when we went to Washington, D.C. We received a response from FBI for more evidence, and we are glad that we have that evidence now, and we would appreciate if I will talk to her, to take it to the Department of Justice and Human Rights and to the FBI. Mr. Danny Davis, Congressman Mr. Danny Davis is still on his way. Okay, so even though he's not here, I just want to appreciate him taking the time to come and attend PRAVIN's memorial. We want to thank a representative of Congressman Bob Dahl, Mr. Scott Litzo. Thank you, and we will be meeting soon. And thank you for your interest in this case and for your presence. And Mrs. Sheila Simon. This is a woman I admire. When she came to the first meeting, honestly, God, I did not know who you were. I asked my husband, who is this? And he said, that's the Lieutenant Governor. And I had no idea who you were. But since then, she's someone in the politics that I regularly keep in touch. She has helped us tremendously. Her office was instrumental in finally getting us the death certificate. She tried to build a bridge between us and the state attorney and tried to get the reports even though it did not work well with the state's attorney. She responds to my emails instantly, and thank you so much for encouraging me to keep up the fight. Whenever we saw her, she always made sure she came and hugged me. She is here with her husband today, and thank you so much. And I was so sad that when you lost the election, so next time when you run, wherever you want me to go, I'll come. Next is our mayor and friend, Mr. Dan DiMaria. I would say the biggest publicity we got was through him. When I told some people in the beginning to meet the mayor, they said, what can a mayor do? I guess he proved everyone wrong. I met him at the village board meeting. He offered his help and he kept his word. He showed the world he is a caring mayor for his community. He called a press conference, which was the biggest exposure for this case to keep the story alive and demanding answers. That news hit Yahoo! We meet regularly, and the mayor and his office has been very supportive. We thank you for coming today with his wife. Now, Desplaines Alderman, Mr. Jim Brookman. We have known him even before PRAVIN's incident through Mr. Matthews Abraham. After this incident, he's been very supportive. He arranged some important meetings for us with some high-ranking officials, and looking forward to your assistance in meeting the governor. Thank you for coming today. Alderman Mr. Ameya Pawar, he sent the representative today, Jasmine, Josina, I'm sorry. Okay. He is very helpful. He usually texts me and messages me. He helped me get in touch with many officials, and we thank him for sending you today. The office of Mr. Lou Lang, our state representative, has been very, very helpful. We had many meetings with him, and he reached out to the Attorney General's office and Carbondale Police many times. Him and his office staff, Brooks, yeah, very helpful. He could not, we are looking forward to meeting with you again, and look forward to your assistance again. Thank you. Ms. Leda Carlyle and Mr. Raja Krishnamurti, two strong leaders from our community who always offer their help. They were also here for the first meeting and are still with us. Thank you for coming. Ms. Abramite, PRAVIN's teacher. So nice to have you come and share your memories about him. I remember that drama he played in Annie. He did not tell us what role he had until I came there. Thank you for being a positive influence in his life. We have no words to thank Ira and Sal from Archangels of Justice. From our first meeting in December until now, the countless phone calls, emails, and personal meetings you did, your dedication to families like us is greatly appreciated. Thank you for taking our PRAVIN's case, putting the 28-page affidavit with exhibits free of charge. Thank you for giving the assurance that our suspicions were right and we are not crazy. Thank you for coming to Carbondale for the press conference and memorial and going into the official offices and talking to them. As a token of our appreciation and love, the PRAVIN Action Committee has decided to give you a check for $3,000 to continue your work. I request Mr. Gladson to hand over the check to Archangels of Justice.
We do this for free, folks. We get a couple dollars for expenses, but this